Hey guys, welcome to Dog Will Fix It, and we have a Nespresso M600 Magimix, and we have that red light of death, and I'm going to show you what you need to do to fix it. So to understand the actual problem, what we have is we have the pod, and the system needs to read this barcode on the back of this pod, and when you put it in, it's unable to read it. And basically right in here, there's a light that shines through that reads that pod, a barcode reader, and then it starts to actually start making your coffee. If you can't read that, you'll get that solid red light, and we're going to show you what you need to do to start taking this apart. Yeah, and what we're gonna also do is when we get this thing broken down into smaller bits, we're gonna actually show you where the laser is that you need to clean to get this thing working again. So you have the following screw that needs to be removed from here first, and this is a star screw, and I'll show you if you can get closer with this. It's this shape with a little hole in the middle. I don't know the exact size, but that's the one you need to do. You need to remove this. You take this screw out from here, and then you can actually start to dismantle this piece by piece. So once that's out, we're just going to lift this off the bottom here and then slide it upwards, and it should just pop out. Yep. So I use this knife, just wedged it in there to just lift this up a bit, and then you slide it forwards and that will come out. And that's part one, and then basically you do the same on this side. Again, should come off a little easier. You just slide it forward, like that. So that's out, and the back will just basically come off. You see that? We have that. Okay. Remember that we need to get to the actual barcode reader, which is in the heart of this system. And the way that we can do that is, we actually don't need to take the top off, because we actually need to just access that. So you've got a couple of screws. One's in here, and I'll show you what it looks like. So it's normally, we've already dismounted. So there's a screw in here. There's also a screw in there. So those two need to come out. And there's one in there. So there's 3 screws. 1, 2, and 3. They all need to come out. They're the same Torx screwdriver that we used to open the initial panel. And once you get those out, we should be able to start unclipping this whole device. And let's get this screw. That's out. Okay. So they got those 3 screws out. I'm going to light the screw down and this. So what you can see here is you can see the top half of this device and the bottom half of this device. We need to separate them. So you can see that the top half is clipped in here, and on the opposite side. So I've got the knife in there just to lift this panel up so I can unclip these, and you can see it's starting to move out. And I'm going to do the same on the opposite side. Hopefully this stays in there. Okay, got that out. Now I'm going to lift the top out, but I want you to be super careful, especially if the machine is, you can see this black wire. We need to be a little careful with this black wire. We're not going to disconnect anything other than just pull the top out without pulling the cables, and just pull it to the side like that. So everything is still intact and connected, and we'll slide that back in a minute. So now we've got access to this. You can pop this rubber off, give it a wash if you like, but you need to be careful. If you've just been using this machine, this is going to be super hot, so you make sure you've let it cool down before you do that. Okay, so what we're going to do next is, you see we've got another Torx screw here. Now we've got another Torx screw right in here, in between those wires, just there. There's 3, and then there's a third one at the top on this end. So they all need to come out, all these 3 Torx screws, yeah? And then we're going to remove this metal plate, this whole unit, pull it up, and that will give us access to the laser that reads the barcode. And that, if you look here on this side, that normally shines through this transparent outer rim, and it shines through to read the code on the pod. And you need to make sure this is clean as well. But we're going to actually get in there and clean the actual laser itself in a minute. Alright, so I've taken out the 3 Torx screws, 1, 2, and 3 on the opposite side. So now you can see this whole metal unit is loose. Remember, if you've been using it recently, or trying to use it, and it's not been doing it, this is going to be super hot. So you have to be real careful. Mine is a little warm, So I'm just going to use this little cloth. I'm going to lift it out slowly. Let's just lift it out like this. And as you can see, when I lift this out, can you see the laser right here? This is it. Those two little lighty things, those are the lasers or the barcode readers that shine through to read that pod barcode on the top. So they go through, and you can see this is all transparent plastic, so it just goes straight through to read that barcode. So this actually needs a really good clean around here, like that. So get all of this scrubbed in. Those two little, yeah, are they visible? Yeah, they're pretty visible. These two little bits right here, give them a good clean with a cloth, slightly damp. Just clean around that whole area, and then what we're going to do is we're going to basically start to put this back together in reverse, exactly how we did it, but in reverse, without damaging and disconnecting all of these different wires that you've got. And that's key. We're doing this without actually dismantling it fully, and all of these tubes and cables are still fully intact, so the system should function once you get this back in. That's fine. And then all these screws go back in as before, and then once you've done that, run it through a reset and clip all of this back in just exactly as in reverse, and then it should be okay. It should be good to go. That's it. Thanks for watching. Sub the channel, like the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.